I'd like to call to order the Water Pollution Control Authority and Town Council meeting of North Branford at 7:07 p.m. Start with a salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome, folks. Thanks for taking some time to come to council chambers tonight. We have a fun, packed-filled schedule here. We're going to do lots of appointments and things today. We'll start off. I will accept. Oh, sorry. Roll call, please, Michelle. Thanks.
Mayor McMillan.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Zampiano.
Here.
Councilor Abelson.
Here.
Councilor Angeloni. Councilor Diamond.
Here.
Councilor Downs.
Here.
Councilor Gold.
Here.
Councilor Mace.
Here.
And Councilor Palicia.
Here.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. All right, on to agenda item 2, minutes for previous meeting. Item A, February 15th, 2022, regular town council meeting. I'll accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Diamond, seconded by Councilor Palicia.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I do have one correction.
Okay.
I apologize. The page 19 is not complete,
Okay.
and the times are off. So the under 10 executive session, the motion come out of the executive session was 10:11 p.m. And I believe the motion by Councilor Angeloni and seconded by Councilor Diamond to adjourn the meeting at 10:12 p.m. Those are absent in that motion.
Okay, we can make those corrections.
And that was motion to adjourn by
Yep.
Councilor.
Councilor Angeloni moved, seconded by Councilor Diamond to adjourn the meeting at 10:12 p.m.
10:12. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right, any other discussion, any other corrections? So
I'll amend my motion to go along with this correction.
thank you very much, Councilor Diamond. All right, I will, your motion was first, Councilor Diamond has amended her motion for the corrections on the previous minutes. Seconded, Councilor? Seconded?
Yes.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Abstained, Councilor. Thank you. All right, and that passes. Thank you very much. All right. Water Pollution Control Authority agenda, item 3, correspondences and statements. See none. Okay, we'll go on to agenda item 4, unfinished business. None. Okay. 5, new business. None. All right. Citizen statements and petitions for the Water Pollution Control Authority agenda. All right, seeing none, we're going to move on to the regular town council meeting. Thank you. Item 7, reports of committees, boards, and commissions.
Mr. Mayor, if I may make a motion really quick,
Please. Thank you, Councilor.
I'd like to move to amend the regular agenda under item 11, resignations and appointments, to replace the list of appointments on the revised agenda with the updated list as provided by the town manager.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Palicia. Motion made by Councilor Palicia, seconded by Councilor Downs. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? That shall pass. Thank you. All right, so we'll work off that when we get to that. Make it a lot easier for everyone. Okay. All right, back to item 7, reports of committees, boards, and commissions. Item A, Economic Development Commission, Roger Slowway, monthly report.
Yes, typically Councilor Angeloni reports out as liaison. She's obviously not with us yet at this meeting, so I'm happy to jump in and point you in the direction of a very lengthy report that Roger has submitted, and kind of hit the highlights here in terms of their focus on advanced manufacturing and the work that they're doing to meet with different officials around the state and different universities looking at different educational systems and what they have, various programs around the state. So they're gathering a lot of information. I know Roger's working diligently with Scott on the school side. He's made a lot of inroads with individuals in key positions within the state of Connecticut with respect to manufacturing. So I think that will be ongoing to look at that. The POC Plan of Conservation Development goal of retaining, expanding existing business, active collaboration with site developers. Obviously, we have a number of applications underway, which we talked about at length in terms of the Pines and others. There is active ecotourism initiative. They've looked at the sunflower season, in terms of spring planting coming up. The Local is Good QR code program is piloting, so they're working through that. Obviously, they've broken ground on the solar project off near Mill Road and Forest, so that's underway, and you can see that, and a number of other items of which are contained in the report, and certainly happy to take back any questions that council members may have with respect to EDC, but it is rather lengthy and extensive. The group is engaged and I think doing some pretty good work.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Okay, we'll move on to item B, Parks and Recreation. Councilor Angeloni is not here tonight. Michael, did Councilor Angeloni leave you a report with that?
I did not receive a report yet. No, I don't have a report out. I know that in some respects that they are working through a number of policy issues within the organization and the commission and the department. I do know that they had an application go before Inland Wetlands, I believe it was, or with P&Z. Inland Wetlands. Yeah, and with respect to a potential proposal for disc golf and Poco Festival activities underway as well. So that's about all I can report at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. We could revisit this in the next meeting as well. All right, item C, Police Commission.
Police
Councilor
Commission
Diamond.
had a meeting on February 16th. Councilor Bode and I attended. A number of things to share. First of all, there was some really nice news. There were 2 sets of awards given, life-saving awards to Detective Deco and Officer Cunningham. They were able to help a woman who was in dire need of health assistance, and they were able to help keep her alive and okay until the EMTs arrived. So they both received an award. In addition, I'm sure Walter Goode would agree with me on this, it was really fun to see our canine, Chase, who also received an award. Evidently, there was an incident in town where was a domestic incident, and the suspect fled into the woods and no one could find him, but Chase found him, and he received a plaque as well. And he's really, isn't he? He's a great dog. He's a beautiful dog. It was really fun to see him. Also, happy to announce that the police department received the JAG Award, the $20,000 award grant, if you remember, that we approved. I think it was in December. The commission spent a lot of time during the meeting reviewing their proposed 2022-23 budget. I just think it appears there's just a slight increase. I know that they haven't met yet with the town, or I don't think they've met yet with the town manager, and obviously you'll get to see that soon. The other thing that I think is important to note is that the police departments had to do a lot in terms of modifying the booking room for safety purposes. And they are spending a lot of money, unanticipated money. And I checked with the chief tonight. They're up to about $15,000 that they've overspent. At some point, the council has to decide whether or not, you want them just to go into the red, or we want to talk sometime about how we're going to approve some of those expenses, things unanticipated they didn't know they were going to have because of staying in that building. That's my report, unless you want to add anything.
Didn't sound like it was anything major, but it's definitely stuff that needs to be done.
Yeah.
We had anticipated that when we started building the new PD and going through that process, so.
Yeah.
As long as the officers are safe.
Yeah, we will make sure that we keep them safe, absolutely, and that's something we can certainly bring to our attention, go through, to make sure we take care of it for you folks.
So it's something we have to deal with at some point.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we compile, we can compile a breakdown of that, come up with a list.
I can, actually, I know the chief is keeping a list, and he can obviously forward that.
Yeah.
Chief, if you'd like to provide that for next meeting, we can certainly look at that.
He's already yeah.
Did I forward it to you?
You forwarded me the one, but it wasn't with all the booking rooms.
Oh, okay. So yeah, actually, the number that she had from the meeting was almost 5,000.
Right, that's what I had.
I think we're up to 7,000 now. Anticipated to complete the project is going to be close to $15,000.
About 15?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we get the breakdown of that, see how it
Well,
breaks.
I'll get it for the next meeting.
Great, and we can look at appropriating some funds towards that. Well, keep your folks safe for certain. I think I speak on behalf of the council that we certainly appreciate what they do. We're, on behalf of the council, we're thankful for Officer Deco and Cunningham and what they've done to help that unfortunate person that was in need. And of course, with Chase doing his job, it's pretty cool that we have a
I forgot
canine.
to mention that he also attended the State Narcotics Academy, and now he can be used by the state police
Oh, wow.
in terms of checking for narcotics and a lot of other things. It's amazing what he can do, and he was one of the top 2 dogs in that academy.
Well, that's fantastic. Can you help us with union negotiations?
Pardon?
Just checking. Seems like you do a lot. Okay, good stuff. Thank you. Anything else for Police Commission? All right, seeing none, we're going to move on to item D, Fire Commission.
So I attended the Fire Commission meeting last month, and there was some scuttlebutt around town with, again, looking at the response times with the ambulance. And so there was somebody from the community that came and spoke up, and we heard her concerns, and many of us, agree with her concerns, and we're looking to do something about it. So on the, apologize, my phone just shut up. On the 21st, the committee that was set up to look at response times with the ambulance, we had our first meeting. I would say that it was very fruitful. The people that are on the committee are the exact people that need to be on the committee. And a lot of good ideas and suggestions came up. And right now we are in kind of the fact-finding phase. We want to really look at the numbers and see what the numbers dictate and where the needs come as far as stats. We want to be stat-driven with any solutions that we bring to the council level or whatever. So it has begun. We're taking a hard look at it, and we want to make the best educated decisions moving forward. So as that progresses, I will keep everybody here abreast of what's going on.
Thank you, Counselor. Okay. Any more on? Okay. Item E, Planning and Zoning Commission.
Next meeting, March 3rd, this Thursday.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor. All right, item F, Finance Subcommittee. Mike, we went through that last time, I believe, in our last meeting, so we haven't had a meeting since.
Right.
Our next one is for next Tuesday?
Yeah, we'll get confirmation. I think we're going to go Tuesday before this meeting.
Okay, so we'll come back to that one as well. All right, and then G, Public Safety Communications Subcommittee.
No meeting.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving right along, we're going to go to item 8, Town Manager Report. Michael, your show?
Yeah, first item, A, update on COVID-19. I'm happy to report that the numbers are trending lower. And if you look at North Branford's stats, it's in your packet. Although we don't have a full, we nearly finished, I think, the last recording for last week, 24th, 25th. We're at 140 cases for February, and if you look back to January, we had 809. That's where we peaked. And again, there's still a few days lagging for February that we don't have yet, but I don't see that surpassing even December. When you look at December's 318, cases for December. So again, the trend is working in our favor, and it is retreating, which is good news. And we continue to push vaccinations and boosters. And I think the stat is we're at I think we just climbed over 80% with respect to vaccinations. We're very close to that level at this point. So
That's great.
Again, we keep inching up a little bit, and hoping for the best. Supplies, we certainly have plenty of masks that we've advertised for the public, and if they want to, they drop by. We have the N95 mask, we have the surgical mask. They have their choice of whatever one fits best for them. We also have made sure that we've got adequate supplies for test kits for municipal employees, and obviously it was of concern going through the winter months and making sure that Public Works and police, fire, and everyone, first responders, had access to those, and we've got plenty of those. So there's no shortage of that, and we'll continue to monitor. And I think our meetings are now going to every other week to monitor those stats in the health department, and that's about it at this point.
Trending in the right direction. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next is item on the Permanent Project Building Committee. They did not meet last night. They're going to meet again on Monday, March 7th. And the high school obviously is moving along, make some good inroads there. And I think you all should have received the notification for the topping ceremony, which will be tomorrow at 10. So had to move that out because of inclement weather. And I hope that everyone can make that tomorrow. I'm also going to try and meet with Marnie Lisk from CSG and with Anthony tomorrow to get in to look at the online system for submitting reimbursements. So we're going to check and confirm and go through that process tomorrow. And I know Bill Silver and Silver Petroselli, as far as the police department project, has been tasked with doing several things in order to get the project buttoned up with respect to the the bid documents, for that project. And I think that's expected to be something we review on the 7th and get that out on the street as soon as we can.
That's great.
I know you certainly have both the chief and the deputy here this evening. If there's anything I may have, important items I may have missed, they could certainly chime in if you wanted to.
Chief, deputy, anything?
No, it sounds like he did it.
Great, okay. Moving in the right direction then.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Let's
important.
go.
Obviously anxious to get a shovel in the ground, but before we can do that, we've got to get this thing bid out on the street. We've got to get the numbers back. We've got to take a look at it and see where we're at.
Well, let's hope that bids are favorable this time. Changing climate yet again.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, thank you for that. Anything else?
that's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, that being said, let's move on to agenda item 9, community events and presentations. Anything to report here?
None.
Okay. Agenda item 10, citizen statements and petitions and correspondence. Mr. Potter, how are you tonight, sir?
Doing well, and I mean that in a good sense.
I like that. That's great.
I was listening to Michael usually every month, and he'd rattle off the COVID numbers, and I wouldn't be paying attention. And then, boy, did it hit around us. I've lost a neighbor in front of me, and I've lost a neighbor behind me. COVID is still very much alive and deadly.
Yeah.
To lose, the one gentleman went in for surgery, survived the surgery, but not the hospital stay. COVID got him. So it's real, and I tended to be sloughing it off. And now my neighbor Fran is a widow. We're trying to do everything we can for her. So I want the citizens to, I don't want to be political, do what you think is right. When it hits so close to your house that, like my backyard and my front yard, it really makes you realize this hasn't gone away yet. So just do that extra little thing that you think is right for your family, and because I don't want you to have to. They were both buried the same day,
Yeah.
and that makes it real. So it's like I say, Michael, I pay more attention now to what you're saying because it's a shame it has to hit so close to home before I'll listen. So I just want people to know it's still real. Our emergency services people are excellent, but COVID took 2 citizens off our rolls this last month, and that's not what we want.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, and our condolences to you, Mr. Potter, and of course to the families affected and their friends.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time today and for that comment. certainly invokes thought. Okay, the fun part of the night, we're going to start doing our appointments. There's a good deal of them. Luckily, we were able to amend the list so that it's a little bit more organized. We're going to start with appointments, and then we're going to go on and move to a reappointments. We're going to run this with a kind of a more simpler style rather than going through the roll call of each one. So you folks aren't here all night long. We're going to do the old school yay, nay, abstain, if that's acceptable to everyone here on the board. Okay, good. All right, let's get the show on the road.
Michelle, I gave you one.
Yeah, I just got it all set up.
Michelle, are you all set with this? Do you want?
Sure. It's just
Okay.
going to take me some extra time on the
Oh,
backside. but
I
we're
got
all
you.
good.
Maybe we can do a cut and paste for you. Get you. I know. Sorry.
You go. You go.
Okay,
I got
we're gonna rock and roll. We'll get it over to you.
Thank you.
Okay, and Michael, if you wouldn't mind, if you can make a backup copy of anyone that votes outside of yay to nay or abstain, and we can provide that to Michelle.
Yeah, no, we're
Okay, so starting with appointment A, appointment of Barbara Altery, Democrat, to Economic Development Commission to fill the vacancy as chamber member. Term expires to expire 12/31/22. Bio's attached. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Congratulations, Barbara. Thank you for your service to the town. Appointment of Peter Stolnik, Republican, to Economic Development to fill a vacancy as Comms Real Estate Development, term to expire 12/31/24. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? All right, congratulations, Peter. Thank you for your service in North Branford. All right, appointment of Deborah Alt, I believe, Democrat, to Ethics Commission to fill an alternate vacancy position, term to expire 12/31/22. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? All right, congratulations, Deborah. Thank you for your service to the town. Appointment of Andrew Macmillan, Republican, to the Ethics Commission to fill an alternate vacancy to term expire 12/31/22. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I will abstain. Congratulations, Andrew. Thank you for your service to the town. I had to abstain. That was my father. Yes, he's a very ethical man. I'll tell you that. Held me to a very high standard. Thank you for that, Dad. Okay. Appointment E. Appointment of Connor Boughton, Republican, to the Ethics Commission to fill vacancy position as a regular member, term to expire 12/31/23. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Congratulations, Connor. Thank you for your service to the town. Appointment F. Appointment of Neil Salmonak, Republican, to replace Eugene Sabile to the Board of Fire Commissioners, term to expire 12/1/24. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Neil, thank you. Appreciate it and your service to the town. Okay. Appointment G of Robin Anderson, Republican, to Library Board to fill vacancy. Brenda Schuler, term 12/31/24. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained?
I abstain.
Thank you, Mr. Mace. Okay. Thank you, Robin. Appreciate your service to the town. Appointment of Elena Macmillan to Library Board to fill vacancy. Michelle Elagio, term to expire 12/31/24. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I will abstain. Thank you. Thank you, Elena, for your service to the town of North Branford. Appointment of Charles Rabano, Republican, to Planning and Zoning Commission as a regular member. Term to expire 5/31/23. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sorry, opposed? Abstain? Thank you, Charles. Appreciate your time to North Branford. Charles North Branford. Appointment of Scott Lands, a Democrat, to the Planning and Zoning Commission to fill an alternate vacancy, term 12/31/24. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Scott, for your time in service to North Branford. Okay, that fills the appointments. That's pretty painless, thank you. Now on to the reappointments. Let's try to carry the trend. All right, reappointment K of R. Stephen Onofrio, Republican, to the Board of Assessment Appeals, term to expire 12/31/24. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you again, Mr. Onofrio. Okay, reappointment of Ashley Joyner, Democrat, to the Conservation Inlands Wetlands, term to expire 12/31/24. I'm sorry, 23. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Ms. Joyner.
Mr. Mayor, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Just realizing that after we get past N, we have a problem in terms of the labeling is out of order, is not correct. As you see, I just want to bring that to your attention, that we're going to have to carefully indicate that reappointment of Scott Small will be item O, correct? You see that I typed,
Oh, yeah.
typed it out, and so I didn't want any confusion.
Well, let me sure I got this correctly. Scott is O?
Well, I believe if we started up at reappointments K, L, M, N, and then it repeats, M repeats, so that I think Scott would make Scott O, item O,
Point of information, Mr. Mayor. And all the rest of them have to be changed after
Yeah.
that, right?
and we'll just
Yeah.
go
All the
down,
letters?
just adjust them downward.
Yep. So as long as you know your alphabet, you're good.
Exactly, yeah. It just means they're off one.
Now, I did have a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Once you get down the AB, AB, AC, when you're doing it out, is it a problem if it changes that automatically within the system?
I'm going to change that to AA, AB, AC, AD.
Okay.
Okay, to make it easier. And Michael, thanks for doing that. Appreciate it. Is everyone, you had a point of clarification?
I was just gonna say, just make it N1 and N2, and then just keep the letters all the same, so you don't have to re-letter
It does it
everything.
automatically in the program.
Be a lot simpler, just make it N1 and N2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think the program does it double A, double AC, AB, AB, AC.
So then I'm lost at where you started. that we're-
Okay, so, well, I have it in here. I'll follow along as I go through it. You can add it in there if that's okay.
Yeah, just let me know.
Yeah, so essentially N has become O, and then just follow the alphabet down to Z, which was once Y, and then what is now Z will go to AA. Then what was once AB will continue to be AB.
It's actually
AB is AC, and then AC to AD.
So right now we have M at Steve Scavo and N at Dan Arman, right? And then we're gonna change the letters after that.
Oh, you know
Well,
something?
X.
And
Yeah,
then it
I missed
starts-
it. You know something along on this?
XYZ. So AA.
Alphabet.
Donna Pursley.
All right, so we have several N's in here.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
just so you know, X is Z, Y is AA, Z is AB, AB is AC. There's another AB, which is AD, and then AC is AE.
Okay. Let me start over here. Let me go M, N.
Well, I think mission accomplished.
Yeah.
We're making this easier.
There it is.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no, it's a good point of order.
I like Mr. Mace's idea.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so N is Dan Arman.
N1 and N2,
Yeah.
that's it.
And then with M. So Scott Small starts O, correct?
XYZ.
Go back to school. Why don't we just do the N1 and
Scott
N2?
Small
It's
starts
done.
with O.
Okay, O. Okay. So P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, Z. Wish my daughter was here. She'd be learning her alphabet.
Well, I don't work with her, bring her.
A, B,
As long as you guys discuss things, I can play with her.
Okay, now that we've done our Sesame Street work, we can get back to the important business of of reappointment and the letter of the day, as we're saying here. Somewhere, someplace, there's Oscar the Grouch popping out of a can,
Me without my puppets.
snickering at us. Okay, so we're going to start up the train again here. We're going to start at M. M, reappointment of Steve Scalvo, Republican, to the Conservation Inland Wetlands as P&Z member for a term to expire 5/31/23. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Mr. Scalvo. Reappointment to Dan Arman, Democrat, to Economic Development Commission as an alternate at large. Term to expire 12/31/24. All in favor? Aye. Abstained? Opposed? Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Mr. Arman. I'm sorry, Mr. Yes, Mr. Arman, right there. Okay. All right. Next is where we're renumbering or relettering, I should say. O. Reappointment of Scott Small, Democrat, to Economic Development Commission as a regular member. Business Com, term to expire 12/31/24. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Mr. Small. Okay, let me do this here, make it easier for me. We are on to P, reappointment of Carl Ford, Republican, to Ethics Commission, term to expire 12/31/24. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Mr. Ford. Okay. Q, reappointment of Ronald Onofrio, Democrat, to the Board of Fire Commissioners, term to expire 12/1/24. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Mr. Onofrio. Okay, on to, make sure that was Q, correct?
Yes.
On to R, reappointment of Edmund Premier, Democrat, to the Board of Fire Commissioners, term to expire 12/1/24. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Mr. Premier, thank you again for your service. We appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. S, reappointment of Teresa Franson, Republican, to the Library Board, term to expire 12/31/24. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Ms. Franson. Okay. T, reappointment of Craig Miller, Democrat, to the Parks and Recreation Commission, term to expire 12/31/24. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Mr. Miller. All right. U, reappointment of John Onofrio, Democrat, to the Parks and Recreation Commission, term to expire 12/31/23. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Mr. Onofrio. All right. V, reappointment of Mr. Louis Fonda, unaffiliated, to the Permanent Project Building Committee, term to expire 11/30/26. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Mr. Fonda. You guys are doing great work out there. Okay. W, reappointment of Mr. Al Rose to the Permanent Project Committee, Building Committee, term to expire 11/30/26. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Mr. Rose, thank you as always, sir, for your service to now North Branford. Okay. Reappointment to Victor Pediandro, X, reappointment to Victor Pediandro, Republican, to the Police Commission, term to expire 12/31/24. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Abstained? Thank you, Mr. Pediandri, for your service. Okay. Hold on to Y, reappointment of Dave Palumbo, Democrat, to the Police Commission, term to expire 12/31/24. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Mr. Palumbo. We are on Z, finally. Reappointment to Susan DeSilva, Democrat, to the Solid Waste Recycling Committee as a regular member from alternate, term to expire 12/31/22. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Mr. Silver. We are now on AA. Reappointment of Donna Pursley, Democrat, to the Solid Waste Hazmat Recycling Committee, term to expire 12/31/22. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Ms. Pursley. Okay. AB, reappointment of Mr. John Duty, Democrat, to the Zoning Board of Appeals, term to expire 12/31/24. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Mr. Duty. AC, reappointment of Ed Boughton, Republican, to the Zoning Board of Appeals, term to expire 12/31/24. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Mr. Boughton. All right. AD, reappointment to Steve Kenning, Republican, to the Zoning Board of Appeals, term to expire 12/31/24. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Mr. Kenning. All right. And last but not least, reappointment, which is AE, reappointment of Vincent Valero, Republican, to the Zoning Board of Appeals as an alternate, term to expire 12/21/24.
12/31.
I'm sorry, 12/31/24. Thank you, sir. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Mr. Valero. And we are done with appointments.
That went quick.
God bless. Okay. Thanks for everyone's patience during this. Certainly was a fun time for all of us. Okay. Let me catch up my command here. Okay. Rid of that and that. On to unfinished business. Review of proposed amendment to Inter-Municipal Animal Control Agreement. Myself, Michael, and Anthony met with the folks over in Branford last week. Had a great conversation and Mike, you certainly can chime in and fill in where I'm missing here. This is something we've wanted to get off of our unfinished business for a while. From what I'm gathering, it's hard to make a decision on the overall cost of what we pay for this particular service before we actually have the numbers of what it will actually cost. We've looked at an increase from $100,000 now to $240,000. That was the increase that they initially told us. Or was it 140?
140 to 240.
Sorry, 140 to 240. So it was an increase of $100,000 in service to help pay for some capital improvement. We've had discussion as to, if we're paying for capital improvement, are we paying as a service garner, meaning they're a service provider and we are a customer, or are we essentially owners of that capital? And essentially we were told we are not, and it is property of Branford, which we understood, and that would be a service. So it was difficult to at that time devise if that number was going to be correct and what it was going to reach to. So they had suggested that there's a great deal of fundraising that is going on to offset the overall cost of this project for the animal shelter. They're doing great things over there. The animal shelter has had new wings and different safety controls put in place, which is wonderful. So we're going to table this as long as that's acceptable to the board until, I believe, the end of August. So we'll look at probably the first meeting of September when we can get some solid numbers as to the fundraising efforts and any money that possibly we can garner from the state as an intermunicipal venture. And then come back to this and see if it makes sense for us to utilize the services of Branford for this particular need, or should we desire to possibly look at a different direction, may it be here locally or with another municipality.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
It's very hard to understand these printouts because it seems like all the ink is running together in the numbers.
For the animal control?
Yeah, for the animal control. I mean, I go through this here, and it's hard to understand some of these numbers. The 8s, the 9s, the 6s.
Yeah.
They all run together.
We could send you a
we
digital
can get a
copy.
clean copy, so...
Sure, we can work
Yeah.
on that. Absolutely. That, and there's it may just be the way it comes off of that, whatever they
I don't know.
built it on, but we can get it to a digital copy as well. Maybe blow up the text so it's a little easier to look at. We can do that.
Okay.
I have a question too, and
Yes, sir.
for you and Mike. One thing that really hasn't been clear to me, and I haven't really seen the agreement since we had that one meeting, but are we paying for animal control, or are we paying? Does it specify in there? Does it differentiate? Between control and shelter?
It's actually both, from what I gather. Mike, you can correct me. So the
Because
improvement-
essentially what they're doing is they're
Shelter.
building a new shelter.
Correct.
If we're paying for a service and we're paying for animal control, it's two completely different things.
was my thoughts exactly during that meeting, that there's a service that's being provided, and we want that service, but much of the improvements were on the actual facility, air exchange. There was I believe a canine room that was also built. Lots of another wing. So there's been lots of improvement to the actual facility, but much of the service of what we're paying for has changed. The initial agreement that we signed, when we signed it, way back when, indicated that we would share in capital improvement. That said, we are not beholden to it necessarily if we wanted to essentially break that agreement / contract. There is an out clause per se. So at any point in time, even if it was up there was a payment process, and we thought at that time period, we've paid, this is for instance, 30%, and we said, okay, enough is enough, and we want to go elsewhere, we wouldn't be beholden to the additional 70% that is required, or would be required should we stay on. We had discussed rewriting that. There was some hesitation as to, North Branford's initial agreement to offset capital expense and improvements. I think that's why, the conversation, we were at two ends, right? We were here saying, hey, we understand an increase. Service increase happens everywhere, but, an almost 80% increase or so, seems, ridiculous, lack of better terminology.
Well, the total, what's the total dollar amount that they're looking for us for at this point, it's like $1 million something, right?
Yeah, but that number.
I know we would spread it out over time, but just for
Yeah.
right now, what's the?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, as the fundraising efforts continue, the number keeps changing, right? Until Branford goes in terms of bonding it, right? So, to answer your question, it's not just the service; it's the total cost of operation, which is the animal control service and the facility. And much like our agreement in terms of the sewer, it's not just the lines, but the physical plant, that sewer plant that upgrades and so forth. So that number, again, is not locked in yet because...
No, I understand that, but as it sits right now, what are we looking at? Because
we were looking at a $100,000 increase.
No, what's the total? Right, but that's spread out over
Yeah.
time. So what's the total amount? Because I want to make a connection here for the citizens that are watching.
Yeah, so there is a point in time where that increase, I asked that question, where that increase would fall off because there is an amount that we're paying for these capital improvements per se, and then we would coil back, probably not down to where we were, but to a lower number likely.
Do you want me to see if I can, because I remember seeing that in previous minutes.
They didn't have that solid number for us to do that
Well, you can save yourself the trouble, Mike, but
Yeah, well, I think if I'm reading it right, 1.7.
I thought it was right around 1.6, 1.7.
right, 1.6, 1.7. So for the citizens that are watching, they do a fantastic job at the animal shelter, and I don't want to beat them up, and I think we should find a way to continue working with them. However, people need to understand that 1 mil in this town is approximately 1.2 million. So you're talking more than a mil. So if we got involved in something like that, generally speaking, it could potentially, raise your taxes, 1 mil, right? Or it's the equivalent of 1 mil. Maybe not exactly raising your taxes because it'll be spread out over time. But it's something to consider. And to the mayor's point, we would have no ownership in that building whatsoever. It does not seem like a good thing right now. So I hope you guys continue to work on that and find a better route, because it seems like we're getting taken to the bank on this agreement.
Yeah, the part that I agree with you, wholly in what you're saying. I thought that was my concern as well, and it was the reason why myself and Anthony and Michael, set out to have a conversation with them in person. The part that was refreshing, I guess, was that there has been tremendous efforts to fundraise, and they have a great base of folks that are willing to do certain events to help with the fundraising, as well as, there's some folks here from this town that have helped out. So we think that number is going to be whittled down some, if not tremendously, we're hoping. I believe completion of this facility was it July or August when they're completing it? I believe it was, I think it was right near end of August when it was going to be completed. So you figure by the time it's completed, that's also likely going to be the point in time where the fundraising kind of ends. So we'll have a good idea then. So it would be my proposal, and I would accept the motion, to take this off of unfinished business with the caveat that it goes back on to new business or possibly unfinished business, depending on what the proper way.
I just have a question, though. How do we budget when we have to do the budget in March and April? How do we know how to budget?
It's a great question. It's hard to budget for something we don't know what that cost is going to be. So we have to do one of two things. We have to come up with a good, fair understanding of what that budget may be, or budget in what it's going to cost us to go to another municipality or build out a facility for ourselves. one way or another, we're required to have this service for the town. We have to have animal control
I know.
services required.
And I would echo what Ron said. I think they do a great job.
They
I
do
mean,
a wonderful
definitely-
job, yeah.
And it's hard to find another town.
It is. There are obviously 2 other towns with these facilities that are adjacent, they're adjoining to North Branford. But I agree, I think, the services they provide, they go above and beyond, obviously, dog control and things such as that. They're doing, all sorts of services.
Hey, yeah, I don't want, we're talking fiscal numbers. I don't want it to be short-sighted and not recognize the job that they do over there. I mean, they go far
Great job.
above and beyond. The hearts that those people have for
Yes.
animals and the care that they take is tremendous. But, unfortunately, we have to balance that with the fiscal responsibility of the town. So,
That's the hard part of the budgeting process. You're not always going to know. And if it was fair and as easy as possible to have hard numbers for everything, budgeting would take, half a day to get done. But unfortunately, that's not the case when we budget. We have to make a good faith effort to come up with what we think the budget should be and then work hard to get to that number. I think we'll continue to have conversations with the folks at Branford.
Yeah, I also, excuse me, I think this might be one of those items ripe for the Finance Subcommittee as well.
That was going to be the next thing I was going to bring up. So we were going to move this over to the Finance Subcommittee to maintain his unfinished business, to continue these conversations. It was brought up during our meeting that Branford, the folks from Branford, would like to come out to one of the subcommittee meetings to have a conversation, get a little deeper into the budgeting process. We thought that would be fair, and then report that back to the board, the council as well. So I'm open to keeping it on our unfinished business. I don't think there's going to be much that we're going to do with it. If we want to keep it on the agenda, we can do that. If we want to move it, off unfinished business and revisit it, come midsummer or end of summer, we can do that as well. And within our finance subcommittee reports, we'll certainly update the group with that. So it really depends on the will of the board and what you want to do. I would entertain a motion either way.
I'd say we probably table it and just take it off. That's my suggestion.
Okay. Would you like to?
I'll make a motion to table this item.
Second. Yeah.
Okay. Motion. Councilor Downs, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Thank you very much. Any discussion?
You table it to when?
I think, do we want to put a date on it? I would table it to, let's say, August. Let's say the second meeting of August. How's that sound? Second meeting of August, this way we can, right around that time, we should have a good solid day.
As long as Mike accepts that as an amendment.
Are they, excuse me, guys, are they still going to bring it before the subcommittee?
Yeah, and we'll bring that in our subcommittee meeting to the council.
Okay, yeah, just because August is
It's a ways
obviously-
away.
And it's beyond
Budgeting time.
budget, yeah.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
believe they're going to look to
One more
come
time, but-
this month, March, we talked about the finance subcommittee meeting, correct?
Right.
Yeah, so my goal is to have some more information.
So you're moving it to the finance subcommittee?
Correct.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Do we currently, have an agreement with the town of Branford?
We do. We're currently in service with
So
them.
they're, okay.
Yes.
So we're,
Yeah, and there's been an agreement there for years. As the agreement reads, if we were to keep the agreement exactly as we have it, we're on the hook to pay these capital improvements. It was what we signed back then. So we're looking, they've made some changes to actually make it more the advantage to North Branford. But obviously, it's still a large amount of money. Okay, so motion, would you like to amend
I'll
the motion
amend my
with the?
motion to have the item tabled until the second meeting in August.
Okay. Second, Deputy Mayor?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? All right, that passes. Thank you, guys. Okay, on to other unfinished business. Item B, discussion and action of ARPA funds distribution. I don't know if we've had any new developments other than what we talked about last meeting.
Yeah, it was
Open to you. Mike,
yeah, it
would
was
you wanna
just
bring something up?
pretty much just a placeholder there in case there was something ready. I know we had talked about, Anthony and I were going to try and put together something with respect to a process for nonprofit type of grant program, and we're still collecting information on that.
Okay.
So again, it was just a placeholder in case something came up when the council was ready to take other action.
Would the board like to put together another budget workshop for ARPA prior to getting into budgeting time? We're all going to be crazy with that.
I also think it would be helpful if we can get any kind of idea about what it would cost for the sewer, putting the sewers down Route 80 before we do that.
Victor, I think you can help us with that.
So I do have a memorandum to Michael that highlighted an approximate cost for that, but it pretty much ended with a recommendation for a feasibility study be completed from one of our on-call engineers.
Okay.
So it's something maybe we can discuss. I could discuss in a little more detail at the next meeting where WPCA is on the agenda.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to have that. Why don't we put that in our notes to have Victor come in and have that conversation with us.
Does that have to be when WPCA is on the, or can we have that in a regular? The only reason I say that is because the next time will be the beginning of April, and that's getting really close to.
I'm here either way, so if you want to put it on the regular agenda or the next upcoming meeting in March.
I think that can go on the regular agenda.
I think so,
It doesn't
too.
have to be WPCA. It's town business.
Yeah, I think that'd be better.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so why don't, Victor, if you wouldn't mind, be prepared for the next meeting to have that conversation. Let us know what a feasibility study will cost as well. We love to spend money on feasibility studies in town North Branford.
If it's feasible.
If it's feasible to do so. So we'll look forward to that. Thank you so much. Being that we're going to have in 2 weeks that conversation, why don't we look to do the budget, the workshop on ARPA after that meeting? I think it makes sense to wait till we have that information. Okay. There was, I think, some conversation about something with Park and Rec for ARPA. Is there anything that you want to bring to the attention on that? There's some other further things that they were talking about? Or asking about?
I think we'll have to hold on that. I don't have any detail for you,
Okay.
and I think we can prep that for the 5th.
Okay, we'll prep that for the next meeting, okay. All right, so then, seeing no further information on ARPA, why don't we hold that on to unfinished business for now, and we will carry on the next meeting with that, and we'll look forward to Director coming to us with some numbers and some recommendations. Okay. All right, thanks, folks. On to item 13, new business discussion and action. Item A, assessment deferral impact report, active deferrals.
Right, yeah. So, as I may have mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, Dave, are you there with us? David called in earlier in the meeting, was going to try and hang on in case there were questions. But, yeah, the council, I think, asked David when he was here last time to put together a report. He did so with respect to those companies or businesses that had taken advantage of the program. Okay. So the top line looks at, the three that were approved and done. So the top one isn't identified, but it's Totucket Landing Holdings is Don Capelli's property over there, and the expansion that he did with his operation there. Obviously, we have Al Rose with the farm store and winery, and then you've got Kenny Newbig and the operation that he has on Totucket Road as well, which is the barn, stable, and so forth. So he broke it down into pending deferrals. You see that 1011 Middletown Avenue is approved status waiting. That's Capasso and Sons operation. And 1565 Middletown obviously is Mill Pond Gathering. And then we've got Foxen Gas Stop on Foxen Road, which is in the process of indicating an interest in getting through the application phase, and as well as actually VP Development was approved as well, so we're just waiting in terms of time of start for those projects. So David broke it down in terms of what how the process works as a phased in. If you look at the top there and take example of Totucket Holdings with Don Capelli's there, 2017 grand list, 18, 19, 20, and you see that it comes down a portion until 5-year phase in is out at the end there. And David, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, yeah, great. So I hope I did that well enough. And you can see, obviously, what the taxpayer is paying, what the lost revenue is in terms of these programs, but it allows them to have to, for us to retain and expand.
Sure.
And after 5 years, you got your full revenue coming in. So
Okay.
I hope that's helpful, and kind of giving a roadmap.
Mhm.
I'm going to pump up.
David, anything you want to add to that conversation?
Go ahead, David, if you can hear us.
Yes, I do. I want to point out that Andy's property on Middletown, the new Mill Pond Gathering, as you know, construction will be completed by October 1st of 22. In order for Andy to receive the benefit, the council has to retroactively approve an application for Andy. Also, Andy built a 40 by 100 storage facility on Reach Gap Road. It easily meets the 35% requirement. However, there's no application, so the town council, if willing, would have to retroactively approve an application that would retroactively apply the deferral back to the 2021 grant. Mark DeLongo's property on 127 Forest Road, he pulled a permit for $1.8 million for a solar racking system. There's no permit. Again, that would easily satisfy the 35% increase requirement. The only issue is the taxable status of solar racking systems is a polarizing topic among assessors. So residential solar arrays are definitely exempt. Commercial, it's iffy. In my heart of hearts, I would believe that it would be taxable, but we need to do further research. And just for FYI, the property at 1437 Middletown Avenue, that's actually aquatic pool building. They built a separate office building on the property, and unfortunately, the increase in the assessed value was only 33.6%. So you could see that they missed out on the deferral if it was approved retroactively by 1.4%. I just wanted to point that out.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the 1.8 solar? What company was that?
That is what's TF?
Oh, that's right.
Right, that's Mark DeLongo's property.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. And that's it, Mike, unless you have any questions.
Opening up to the council, any questions?
Do we have to vote on any of this stuff?
I don't think we're at the point
No,
where
not
we're
at this
voting.
point, no.
Yeah.
David, Councilor Polici was asking whether or not we had to vote on anything, and it's just is more informational, but the council will have to act at some point on
For retroactive aspects of this.
for the Mill Pond Tavern retroactively.
Right. The deferral application for Fox and Gas Stop is circulating around Town Hall. That has to be added to a Town Council agenda soon.
Okay.
How soon?
So would that be the next meeting for 3:15? Do you think that would be ready?
I think that would be ready, yes. Yes, sir.
Counselor?
Yeah, I just had a question for David. Before this list is brought before us again, can you please look into all of these entities and make sure they are current on all of their current taxes?
Yeah, that's right. That's a very good question. Good point. That is part of the application process. The application would die with the collector if they had delinquent taxes.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
But your question, you want to know if the current deferrals have any delinquencies. Is that your question?
I just would like to know if there's any delinquencies on any of these people that are asking for deferments, that's all.
My pleasure, sir. Yes, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, any other questions from the council? right, I don't think there's any action to be had here, it's just more
Not tonight.
informational.
Just we'll
For the time
bring it
being, we
back.
will have, if I heard correctly, there's 2 entities that will require a retroactive vote, and we're looking towards the 15th to do that?
Yes.
Okay, all right, we'll get that, so get any information that we need around that prior, and we can certainly, look through it.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ms.
Thanks,
Ambrose,
David.
appreciate your time.
My pleasure as always.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. Moving along to item B, award of bid number 2, 2021-2022, Atwater Library interior painting. Ms. Davis, would you like to come up and address the crowd? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Library director, I'm back talking paint.
You like paint.
Only 2 libraries. So the town received 2 bids for the Atwater Library interior paint project. The low bidder is not the same contractor that completed the Smith Library paint project, unfortunately. However, after reviewing the bid proposal and contacting the listed references and even meeting with the low bidder and discussing the full scope of the project, I do find them satisfactory to complete the work that needs to be done. And I don't have any reservations recommending them to be awarded the bid. It's Midcon Construction. I believe they're a full-service construction company, but they do have dedicated painters who would be assigned to this project.
What was the name again? I'm sorry.
Midcon Construction,
Midcon? Thank you.
LLC, I believe.
Thank you for doing that legwork, too.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Davis, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't think there's any action here as well, or do we have to
We have to-
take action as the bidder,
I think you have to award the bid.
award the
Yeah.
bid to that bid, okay. All right, then I will entertain a motion.
Can we, do
Okay.
we need to approve it with the dollar amount, or no?
Oh, that's true,
'Cause
or
we don't
to
have
would not
any of the
exceed?
documents. We don't have any of the documents.
No
They
documents? I
disappeared
say it's hard to
somehow.
award that without a dollar amount.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know if when the revised agenda was put up that
Yeah.
everything else came off, but there's nothing else in there but 6 pages.
I guess this low bid, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, but I don't
Usually
see
you
no
have
voting
not
on something
received.
without a
Yeah.
dollar
No, I
amount.
agree with that.
Are they based out of
Okay.
Newtown?
All right, I'll read that out. All right, so they are based out of Newington, Connecticut. It's Midcon Construction LLC, 105 Fisk Drive, Newington, Connecticut, 06111. The bid for services as discussed, $37,851.00. That was the low bid. If anyone would like to see this memo, I'd be happy to pass it on. There's also shows the other bid on there.
So it's back-
And again, Ms. Davis, you found them to be satisfactory?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great.
We met with them.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I'd make the motion to approve the bid as read.
Okay. Motion by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councilor Goode. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? All right, thank you very much. We look forward to getting that project done. Thanks, Ms. Davis, for all the work. Very much appreciated. Okay. All right, moving on along here. Lauren, do you need this? Thank you. Appreciate it. Of course you like paper, you're a library.
Michelle, I like my seating location even more.
Wait till I start baking.
Well, that would be, you could put that on the agenda. Not until after Lent, please. Okay. All right, on to agenda item 14, citizen statements and petitions. Do we have any statements from citizens? All right, seeing none, we're going to move on. We have agenda item executive session A, CSG 1-200, 6B, pending claims and litigations, and B, CSG 1-200, CD, discussion of purchase and real estate. I will entertain a motion to move into executive session with a prior bio break to that.
Who's going to be part of that?
Yeah.
In that session, we will invite, hopefully the town attorney can join us. Michael, do we want to invite anyone else to that?
Is it a town attorney, Marino, and town attorney George, or just?
No,
I
just,
believe just town
Just
attorney
Marino.
Marino hopefully will join us for that.
Okay.
Mr.
So
Paul,
I have town attorney Marino and
he's coming.
town manager Paulus
Hopefully.
at,
Well, we're gonna take a quick bio break. So figure, why don't we say 8?
well, 8:13 will be when you adjourn, so we can all
8:20.
leave.
You want to give 5 minutes? Yeah. So call it 8:19. Let's call it 8:19. 8:20.
Well, we'll all adjourn
Yeah.
at, like, now.
Now, yeah, we'll come
And
back.
then you guys come back whenever you want.
Okay.
We
So
don't,
I'll accept
We
that
take charge of
motion
showing.
for
we just need the,
move to
yeah.
executive session at
People to-
8:20.
Okay. And we just need people to.
I make
put
a
their names
motion that
in.
we move to
Thank you.
executive session.
Motion
8:20.
by
Counselor
Counselor
Diamond.
Diamond as read,
Second.
seconded by Counselor Abelson. Any discussion?
Okay, thank you.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone, for being part of this meeting.
Thank you, Michelle.
Okay. All right, folks, take yourself.